Okay, here we are, Coal Green Station, although no longer in use. I'm at Coal Green Station car park, about to undertake 9.5–10 mile circular of Letty Green in central Hertfordshire. Another North Herts Ramblers walk. Getting a bit stuck for supply now, a lot of duplication occurring, but you know, that's the way it is under COVID life at the minute, but I will have to start venturing forth soon. It's a bit of a grey day, no rain forecast though, hopefully. There is a bit of a stiff breeze though, so we might get some wind interference today. This is walk number 76, I do believe, and it's about 1:30, so should be done by 6, barring any incidents like cattle. They could be present on this walk today. So, Friday the 13th, let's see if I can get through it without any incidents. Good use of a former railway line, this. Although personally speaking, I would prefer to see trains on it. Reinstate the line, you know. So after about 100 yards of walking on the old line, take a right here across some former railway workers' steps by the looks of it. So probably a crossing here of some description in years gone by. Of course the footpath would have been here at the time of the railway, so it's just a means of getting across the rail line back in the day, I guess. Just got a snippet there of St John's Church, Letty Green, and that was on Rightmove about 6 years ago for a considerable sum, and recently sold for even more. Right, taking another byway out of Letty Green onto a country lane ahead, and there are a fair few country lanes to walk along today, I notice. Bit fearful of that, but let's see how they turn out, particularly as I will be on one around rush hour later this afternoon. Plan is to have lunch at little Berkhampstead, so let's crack on. So here we are, and as you can see it's a 60 mile/h lane, which doesn't bode well, and there's 2 vehicles gone past me in about 2 seconds. So leaving Letty Green behind us now. Obviously we'll be back here later. Right, that was about 500 to 700 yards of pretty busy road walking, as you can see. I think that road these days, since the GPX track was done, is far too busy to be walking on for that distance. Dodgy. So you come out opposite this Bedwell Park chalk quarry, our onward journey as indicated above there, towards little Berkhampstead, my lunchtime sojourn. Here we go. Yeah, I must have passed about a dozen cars on that short section of walking, and considering it's a Friday mid-afternoon, that is a reflection of COVID again, I think, because obviously when the GPX track was done, not so many people would have been on the roads. Wonderful bracket fungus there as we approach that time of year, starting to get autumnal. Reminder of times gone by. Some kind of hoe, I think that is, judging by the cedar anyway, of some description, I think. Now I actually took the wrong path at the road junction into this chalk pit area. The actual GPX trail is through woodland on a golf course, but there is a path here over this footbridge that links back up with the GPX trail, so I shouldn't lose any time or viewing, so to speak. Hear the jets again. Just crossing over the fairway, which I've often done in the past on a weekday, and they are very busy now post-Covid. Wouldn't have been the case pre-Covid. So another sign of the times. So the path I should have been on comes from over there somewhere on my right, and I'm now leaving the golf course, heading for something called the Parsonage on the OS map, through that hole there in the hedge. So that's Sparrowhawk. This looks a bit tanned, so it may well be as opposed to a kestrel. It's slimmer and longer as well. That pigeon's a brave bird. Obviously well fed at the minute, the old hawk. So past the old rectory, parsonage on the map, and unfortunately here we go. Although where they are remains to be seen. Well, luckily the livestock in question in this field is sheep, so that's okay. Don't fancy getting head-butted by a herd of cattle. Which obviously happened to that walker recently up in the Peak District. Many fractures, lucky to be alive. About 300 foot up here on the outskirts of a village called Essendon, with its church that comes a bit too early in the walk for me, hence the choice of little Berkhampstead. Get a better shot of Essendon Church there. Strange section of walking this, we've just gone round the edge of the village. Back onto the lane where I was filming a church a little while back. Potential picnic spot there as well, note. We're now back on the Hertfordshire Way. So come off School Lane, take this finger post towards Little Berkhampstead. Just over a mile to go now. Now we're back onto the golf course. Is that strange Egyptian goose? Not sure whether that's open to the public, but there's coffees and teas and refreshments here. There's also a big wedding reception going on here as well at the same time, so it may be private. So that was in fact Essendon Country Club that I've just left. Still ascending on the Hertfordshire Way. Very pleasant woodland section. Plenty of gorse on this path, almost like a heathland section that we're going across at the moment. A couple of 100 yards past Dane's Farm on the map. Take a left up this lane towards Little Berkhampstead. This looks like some more boulace. And as you can see, very old little establishment, Little Berkhampstead. Right, 4 miles into the walk, 6 to go, and I'm at the church in Little Berkhampstead. The GPX track takes you left on a path just before the church, but I'm going to continue my journey after lunch on the Chain Walk, which is opposite the church at some point down this lane here, and that will link me back up onto the GPX track. There is also a pub down here as well, so this is a good halfway house, I think, if you're walking it in the anti-clockwise direction that I am. The pub is the Five Horseshoes, and the very attractive church is St Andrew. Wonderful. Very Essex, I think, this church. Don't know why. It's the wood mix. Nice extension to the rear here, notice. Okay, it's about 3:15, so lunch will be served and taken on this one of two seats actually, near the storm porch. There are a couple of pews under the U, if you excuse the rhyme, under the U opposite the storm porch entrance. 4:15, lunch has been had, and I couldn't read the inscription on that seat, so I can't dedicate it to anybody. It's too worn. It's got a bit cloudier while I was having my grub, but fingers crossed it won't rain. So, also I noticed on the map that there doesn't appear to be any more road walking as I thought there would be, so that's good news. The last section into Letty Green is actually along the old rail line. So let's press on. So you come out the back entrance of the church into Breach Lane here, follow Bridleway 19 here to How Green, which is excellent positioning for me, and then that should get us back onto the GPX track. So at this juncture here, do not continue on down that track there, but take a little diversion here on the left, which is still Bridleway 19, and constitutes part of the Hertfordshire Chain Walk again, with a decent enough vista. As I say, ominously grey, but the Met certainly aren't forecasting rain. Not that they're very reliable. So this path coming in from my left is the GPX track. I took a slight diversion for St Andrew's Church there. So we're now back on track here, over this little bridge. Back on the GPX track now. And below me it's just started spitting. And that's exactly what I said last week. Dogs should be shot if they're found on the loose, disturbing animals. Simple as. And thankfully, just as it started spitting, I'm in a tree tunnel. Thank you, God. Lovely smell of freshly cut hay on my left. So there's a path here on my right. We leave the chain walk here, continue across this field where it says sheep in the field, although it looks like freshly mown hay to me. Yeah, there you go, freshly mown hay. Over on my right is, I think it's Stanford's Folly, Little Berkhampstead. Some lady was telling me about its history. Not on my route today though. The farmer has marked this path out well. Good on him. Now got another bit of dodgy road walking along Robin's Nest Hill. For part of it at least you can come off the busy road, and it is busy, up onto this embankment, but how long that'll last I don't know. Well, that's perfect. It brings us to the finger post, taking us towards Bayford. And as you can see, the cars do speed along here. So we now take this turn right, and thankfully no road walking as such. Okay, this is Stockings Lane I'm stood in, and at this finger post, take the left bridleway 21 here towards Lower Hatfield Road, which thankfully we don't have to walk along. That's what I thought we were going to be walking along earlier, but thankfully no. Next to the property Swallowmead. So at this junction we take the direction right, and I notice we're also on the Lee Valley path now as well, indicated by that swan. This looks vaguely familiar to me. Might have done some of this path before. Coming from that direction perhaps. Let's see what pans out as I walk towards my right now. It's incredibly sultry at the moment. A bit jungle-like. Wind's died down. So hidden in the hedge there is a footpath marker turning left. So we come off this lane now, or this driveway rather, take the left in the hedge. Still aiming for Bayford apparently, which of course is on the rail network. I did contemplate starting the walk there, but it was too far adrift from any point on the GPX track. Now taking footpath 3 up through woodland, and as you can hear, a solitary robin singing. He's either very late or very early, because the sort of territorial song happens in the spring. So I don't know what he's doing singing at this time, because it's well early for Christmas as well, when they also sing. Now we do cross the River Lee at some point. I'll just check the map and make sure this isn't it, because it's incredibly dried up, as you can see. You can see how it has been in the winter months, but look at it now. As I say, Hertfordshire being the most populous county in the country. No, this is a minor tributary of the Lee, which we do cross later. Okay, this looks like it was rape. So it was cut recently. I'll give the farmer the benefit of the doubt and say that it was in the last 2 weeks. Otherwise he would have had to have reinstated the path, which he hasn't yet. So here we go, the first of the autumnal field crossings. And we arrive at this finger post where we take a left. There's proof that the farmer hasn't long ploughed this field. The gulls and the crows are busy feeding on it. Sun's out now, which wasn't forecast. Wonderful. Another jet in the background, but generally speaking today they haven't been too bad, considering I'm twixt Stansted and Luton. Mind you, I am also in East Hertfordshire, and the councillors have probably arranged it such that jets seldom pass over this part of our county. So as you can see, I'm still on the chain walk, and there's more mud and water on it than in the river next to me. Can't remember if this is a bridleway, but it's awfully churned up by horses. Find out when I get to the end of it. Yeah, surprisingly it is a bridleway, even with the low overhead cover. So we now cross Another busy B road past Waterhall Farm, which is a quarry, following Bridleway 2 down this lane. This is now the River Lee. Bit more water here. Doesn't look like the quarry's very active these days. So even in deepest summer, dread to think what this is like in the winter. So this is another example, as we saw in Bedford the other week, of an old quarry being restored back to nature, which is great to see. Just left Wold. Lovely. Now at this juncture, if you wish to take a shortcut, you could follow that path straight ahead and that'll get you back onto the GPX track later on, or for the full route continue up here, right. Another section of cool tree walking. Wonderful, lovely aromas, peaceful, no noise. Well, the odd bit of traffic as I approach a road ahead, I think. Wonder what that stately building is over there. Wonder if that's the private school where young Beckham went. Something Heath. Have filmed that before, but I've forgotten the name. Per the map, it may be Bayford Bury Mansion. Loving all this set aside. Wonderful, there's loads of it around this area, surprisingly. I mentioned about yellow flowers the other day and how there always seems to be some out. Look at this wonderful one. No idea what that is, but it's beautiful. About knee high, just above. Bit of a leaf there for you. And then opposite, next to this fence, about 8 foot high, just coming into flower, is this one. I've seen these in other colours as well. Possibly purple, can't remember. Very nice. Wonder if it's native though. You got another couple of 100 yards of dodgy road walking there, next to this old pit, which looks like it's being developed. Yes indeed. And there's our onward journey on that bridge along the old rail track. And it looks like there's a temporary closure here from the 14th of July for approximately 5 weeks. So that's going in that direction, which thankfully is not the one I'm taking. That's towards Hertford. As you can see, 1.5 miles to Letty Green. Which is left here. So for once it's Friday the 13th and I've got a bit of luck. So this old rail line constitutes part of the Hertfordshire Chain Walk again. There's those pits on my left that are being redeveloped. Quite sad walking along this old rail line, thinking of the ghosts of people past that travelled on the old steam train. Still, it's been preserved for a good use, I suppose. So here we are, 10.4 miles, 3 hours 42 later, back at platform 1, and that was a very nice walk. Apart from the 500 to 700 yards of road walking near the beginning, and that actually is part of the chain walk. So I'm very surprised with Hertfordshire. Well, I'm not surprised at all actually. It's par for the course with them, but that is Hertfordshire County Council's chain walk, and it is currently going along a pretty busy road. that needs sorting out with a footpath along the inside of the field there, I would have thought. But apart from that, that was a decent walk, very good. Weather held out, actually turned out brighter than I thought it would do, so no complaints at all. Didn't hear much bird song, as you'd expect this time of year. Didn't see much in the way of cereals, and the few I did see were still uncut anyway, so quite late this year. And good to see plenty of set aside. So yeah, North Herts Ramblers walk number 76, Letty Green Circular, very good. Thanks a lot, and until the next time,